Hello and welcome to an interview week show where, well, we interview people. As you can see, today the episode is in English, and there's a reason why. We have a very special guest with us. From the city of New York, then Arizona, and now Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vince Desi. Hello, Mr. Desi.
How's it going?
My
How's
God.
everybody? ¿Cómo
Well,
está?
¿cómo está, señor? Really, it's such an honor because I had some special guests on my show, but this is the first time I interview a CEO of a game company, and it's not any game company, it's running with scissors. Let's just say an infamous game company because we're going to discuss why, but good infamous. Don't get me wrong, good infamous because you make some good content, and well, I don't know, it's such a pleasure having you with us here. Why don't you talk about you a bit, like present you to the people that are watching the show?
Well, first of all, it's 2026. I wish everybody a super great new year. And actually, 2026 is the 30th anniversary of when I created Running with Scissors.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
that's when we started working on Postal. Next year will be the 30th anniversary for Postal. Pretty,
Wow.
pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, what a way, 30 years ago. That's a really long time, and there's still
Oh,
people.
¿cuántos años tiene?
Voy a cumplir 27. I'm 26, but I'm turning 27 in March.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal because some say 30 years ago, it's a really long time ago, and then I am almost 30. So there's these things that surprise us, but well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. But well, let's start with the show. Shall we?
Please.
Okay. Uh, I would like to know what motivated you to enter the world of video games because I think that now people have more chances to become a game developer and make their own games. But that was in the 90s when you started. So what motivated you to, for create Postal and found Running with Scissors?
Well, actually, I started in the game industry in 81
Wow.
with the original Atari. And as a producer, they didn't call it a producer back then. And we made a lot of games for the 2600, the Atari 400, 800, Commodore
Mhm.
VIC-20, Commodore 64, and the Apple II series. The first big game we made was called Spy versus Spy on the Commodore 64 from Mad Magazine. Then I
Oh,
made a whole bunch of games for, this is the crazy dog. Then I made a whole bunch of games, this is Matilda. I made a bunch of games for Sesame Street. I made the first WWF game with Hulk Hogan.
wow.
I made a lot of games. And then uh, 1996, I wanted to create something completely different. And we created Running with Scissors, the company,
Mhm.
to, and the game we created was Postal, the original Postal, which came out in 1997.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive because you talk about Sesame Street and WWE and now Postal. That's three completely different things. Just imagine that one of the creators of Postal working on a children's game. Like there's a big difference there. And
Well, that's how it started. I made a lot of games for Hanna-Barbera, for Disney, Sesame Street. So it was a lot. It was a great experience overall. But we wanted to create something different. We were getting tired and bored. We wanted to create something that we wanted to play ourselves.
of
And
course,
I was very tired, even back then. Games that had come out were, well, it was the beginning of World of Warcraft. Doom was out. Most games were very about killing aliens or zombies. I found that boring. I'm a little older. I'm not a big science fiction fan.
of course.
I just wanted to basically have it more reality based. So that's the postal dude, and he's in a town called Paradise, and basically he just shoots his way and sets everything on fire.
Yeah, true Postal way. And I mean, it was a very controversial game because I mean, that's the thing. Even in the 90s, there were a lot of people about games because they were evil, that made you feel bad. But the example here is that the original Postal, it's still a controversial game because of the nature, and but I don't know, it still stood out. Even to this day, people talk about Postal, both what all the Postal games, one, two, four, because there's no three, exactly, right?
Okay. Well, what happened is in the original postal game, it was the first time that NPCs were not soldiers or aliens or
Just
zombies.
regular humans.
Right. They were not, excuse me. So they
Sure.
were not human. So whereas in Postal, there's no monsters, there's no aliens, there's no zombies. It's everybody, basically walking around the town, plus there's police, plus there's military. So one of the things it got in trouble for was it was the first game that allowed you to shoot unarmed pedestrians. And then also it was the first game that allowed you to basically set people on fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
To do
that was,
all those kind of things that
and then it was also the first game that had, if you wanted to quit, it was a suicide button. So, these were things that were all first that hadn't been done before. And the political pressure at the time for violence in video games, it was just the political time. That's all.
of
A lot
course,
of bullshit, in my opinion, a lot of bullshit.
I agree.
But we did. We got a lot of trouble for it, politically in the United States. Uh,
Yeah.
even even the word postal. Um, I legally own the word,
Oh,
but back
it's trademark.
yeah, we trademarked it, and back then we got in trouble for that because the federal government, which runs the post office,
Yeah.
they sued us, but we won that, so that's okay.
Bravo, bravo. You beat the government. Right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great, bro. Uh, yeah, I mean, you see a lot of games now that can do all those kind of things where you play as the villain and you can kill people. But the thing is, even now, there's some people that still have the belief that video games make you violent. And I agree with you on that point that that's a terrible take. I mean, there are also games where we play as good people, but the people that enjoy them are not good, and vice versa. So it's just a game. It's not life. So
Well, I think by now you got to understand it's been 25, almost 30 years later. There's been many, many studies done in the United States, done in Europe, which have shown that video games themselves are not the cause. Just like watching a movie or a comic book or listening to music.
yes,
It's unfortunate that people act out violence in real life
yeah, that's insane.
under any circumstance. I always have the saying about that violence belongs in video games. It does not belong in real life. Okay. And the other thing is that a lot of the studies that have been done and a lot of fans that I communicate with, they find great relief. It's a stress reliever. Playing Postal uh, gives them an opportunity to exercise whatever inner anger they might have. So actually, we're finding out that playing video games has a therapeutic component, the complete opposite of what people were accusing us of many years ago.
Yeah, and seeing that now is a bit more clear because even talking from personal experience, when I was working on my thesis, I was very nervous, and each Friday I play one of my favorite games to relax myself. So that's that's a good thing that games help us. They help us relax, they help us feel better. And even Postal, a controversial game of that nature, even helps because you can, I don't know, you can stop worrying and do something else, something that can be fun. Yeah, I mean, let's say strange but fun, and that's good. The original Postal is a well-known game. People like it. People still play to this day. But the thing is, the most famous game of your company is the sequel, Postal 2. So, what did you enjoy the most about
Well,
the
the
development of
original
Postal
game
2
was a
when you
top
working on the
down,
game
or
with the team?
what they called three-quarter game, whereas Postal 2, we decided to change it up and we made it a first-person shooter.
Hmm.
So the player had a more opportunity to be in touch with the lead character. And the postal dude is anonymous. Today we have a tremendous postal community. Everybody you could imagine, young, old, male, female, trans, this, that, everybody is a fan of the postal dude and identifies with the postal dude in their own way. Okay, that's one of the things I'm most proud of. In the Postal 2, we introduced Gary Coleman, who at the time was the most famous child TV star. Uh,
Yeah.
that was fun. That was funny and crazy by itself. Then we had also in Postal 2, we introduced it. Well, we still always had the fire, which was a big deal, but we made Postal 2 based on just your everyday life. Some of
Mhm.
the errands will go get milk, sign this petition. You went to the running with scissors office. You seen the people protesting.
Yeah,
You come into my office. So the game was reality based, but very satirical, and we don't take anything serious. So that was very different than most games. And also the fact that it was what they call a sandbox or an open, an open base game
an
where
open world.
and so you could play it over and over and it's different every time. So that really gave people the opportunity. And we introduced characters. I mean, the dog, the Postal Dog's Champ.
Champ,
Champ is,
yes.
Champ is a real dog. He was. He's buried in my yard now. But and then it's just different things that were going on at that time. So it was reflecting what was happening in the world. You know,
Hmm.
you got to remember, in addition to Gary Coleman, we also had Osama bin Laden, which was a
Yes.
big back then. Um, we had the Catholic priest. So very different than most games that, come out.
I don't think that in that time there was a game where you meet the creator, you and can kill the creator because at your first scene, nothing personal, but you're fired. And there's the
Well,
option to kill you. So
it's become a pretty famous line, the whole thing in the game and the petition. People call me all the time and they ask me to, can I fire them on Cameo or writing? It's something, it's kind of a funny joke. But the thing is that, and I really think this was a key component, is we allow the gamer, the person, to really identify with being the postal dude,
Mhm.
playing the game without any sense of urgency. You just go about your daily life. You do what you want. It can be fast paced, slow paced. You could be an observer. There are people, sometimes people write me and say they walk around the game and they look inside windows and things and see people. So it's not your typical game. It's almost like playing out real life. And because the errands are so uh, reality based and they're not, you're not saving the world. Most video games, you've got to save the world,
Yeah.
no, we don't save it. In the postal, you don't save anybody. Okay. You save your own ass. That's about it.
And Champ, he's important.
Very.
Yeah, I think that I think that I'm on the group that the reason why the game caught my attention because you can be as violent as you can be, but for the opposite, because you can play the game being a pacifist. I never hear a game that make that before, so when I played the game, I tried being a pacifist, but I found it's very difficult. So yes,
Very difficult.
no,
The Jesus level, people reach it. But it's very difficult. I think in the office, there's only two people that ever were able to do that.
yeah, I mean,
So,
they
you
know.
know, but again, what I wanted to emphasize was, unlike so many games, it was a freedom of choice.
Mhm.
You could do what you want to do. You could play as violent as you want it to be, or you could play it as passive as you want it to be.
Of course.
See, the whole idea was to give the player the freedom of choice.
And I think that have separated the game from other games, from productions, and even to this day, more than 20 years since the release, people still talk about the game, about the decisions, about what you can do, and that's good. But there's another detail. How do you feel about the controversies related to Postal 2? Because for what I know, it's a very controversial game. I mean, that's the thing. When people think about Postal 2, there's this idea of controversy because of the reaction from the people during that time, and even now to this day. But how do you feel about us?
I really don't give a shit about the controversy.
Oh,
From
wait.
the very beginning, it was not something that I set out to do. It wasn't a goal. It was really kind of a side effect, if you will, or just a result. And
Mm.
in the beginning, I was quite offended by it because we're a small independent studio.
Yeah,
We're not backed by Activision or Electronic Arts. We put out our blood, sweat, tears, and soul into what we do. We work very hard. it's our own investment. And when we were accused, and what's interesting is we were accused not only by the mainstream media, but also by the gaming media.
Hmm.
And I think a large part of that was because we were an easy target. We were a self-publisher. We were an indie before they were indies. And that just gave people, game reviewers, et cetera, the opportunity to kind of bash us because I mean, I had people doing reviews and they would say to me, "Hey man, I love the game. I want to give it an 8 out of 10, but I can't. My editor said you can't give it more than a 4 or 5.
Oh no,
You're not
that's
advertising with
that's
us."
terrible,
No,
terrible.
well, I'm just telling you,
I
that's what
mean,
happened. So my attitude, but actually my attitude has always been, I do what I want to do. I believe I'm a good person, and I'm not here to, please other people. I just, go about my business. And I've always felt that if we make a game that we like, then there's a fair amount of people out there in the world, and now the gaming world is like 3 billion people out of 8 billion people play games. Mostly, obviously, it's over 50% is mobile.
yeah,
But I just believe that if you do what you love and you make something that's fun, there's going to be a fair amount of people that are going to feel the same way as you. And they enjoy the same thing. Just as, like for instance, yourself. So we're very blessed to have a very large and now larger than ever before the postal community.
yeah.
It's it's amazing. It's third generation. We have people that literally are grandparents that have
Oh,
that have given their game and to their grandchildren. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
that will be an interesting Christmas. Like, hey, what do you give to my son? Oh, Postal 2, Postal 2. But
Yeah, no, I've got people write to me and say I'm playing with my grandfather. Kid's 10 years old, he's 12 years old. I mean,
oh,
so.
really?
And
I mean,
this year is a big year because, as you said before, Postal 2 is the biggest game in the Postal universe.
mhm.
Okay. Uh, fourth quarter this year with Impact Reality, the publisher we were working with, we are recreating Postal 2 in all its madness, but with improved technology. We're putting it out. It's going to be on PC, Steam. It's going to be on PlayStation 5. It's going
Wow,
to be on Meta Quest VR, Steam VR, PlayStation VR, and that's all going to be coming out in fourth quarter this year. So
impressive.
that's going to be like mind blowing. And it's so great because it's going to come out just before the 30th anniversary.
Just in time. And yeah, good to know that a game like this still continues to be strong, to have a fandom, a fan base that is appreciate the game and tries different things. Well, I know that you watch some of the challenge that people do, like I can use this type of weapons or I can run. So, I mean, when people do that, you know that your game peaked, that reached a high point, and well, who knows, maybe more will come. I mean, you talk about a big project, and well, hope I wish you the best in that project. That everything goes great for you, for running with scissors, and everyone working on that amazing game. Yes.
No, we're looking forward. We've got a great team. The community that's out there. We're so blessed. I always talk about that. Running with Scissors has the greatest fans in gaming, and I have other developers contact me. Oh, how do you do it? What could you do? We're in touch. From the very beginning, I communicate with the fans. A lot of developers don't, and I
Yes.
do.
I mean, this interview, that's a great example of that.
So, and I always tell people, you could ask me anything you want. I'll answer you honestly, or I won't answer you at all. So it's very simple.
That's a great example. But well, on a last question, I would like to enter this point, even though I know it's going to be a bit controversial and a bit painful, but it's an interest. I know about the history behind Postal 3, a bad game, I know. I mean, it's a shame that Running with Scissors didn't work on it because I know that you and your team would have made a killer job. So, if you had the opportunity to actually work on Postal 3 instead of sending it to a killer, would you and the team would have done?
Well, originally, Postal 3, Running with Scissors was responsible for the complete game design and the script and the Postal dude and the lead, all supporting characters. Akella was going to be doing all the coding,
Mhm.
all the audio, sound effects, background, all that type of assets. The problem that we ran into was inside Russia, the economy was tanking. Akella was going out of business slowly, and that was affecting the development. But here's a little bit of an update for you.
Mhm.
Postal 3 was it had a lot of potential. Okay. And by the way, the folks over in Russia, they were great people. I mean, it was a very sad experience, but they were, I'm still friends with them. They're good people. And actually have reached out last year, and well, we haven't, the communication's a little slow,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I can tell why.
we're trying, we don't have the source code. We would love to be able to get the code and be able to reproduce Postal 3 so that way it could come out in all its glory and really give it to the fans. You got to remember when it first came out, it was in such bad condition. I mean, literally, when they released it, the reason I walked away from it was it wasn't operable. I mean, there were people that literally bought the game and never played. It didn't even boot up. Okay, so that
Oh,
was
what a
like
shame.
that was very, how should I say? I didn't want to be a part of something that was so corrupt. Okay. But here we are years later. I think the game has a lot of potential. And if we could ever get in touch with the right people, I would love to put the effort in to rebuilding it, because that's what it would really take to rebuild it and finesse it and polish it up and release it to the fans. I mean, a lot of it changed. Originally, if you see what it looks like now, it's very Russian in terms of its art style and the buildings. That was not supposed to be the way it was, but this all happened. But I think if we can ever get the code and we can work on it, I would do it. I would do it just out of respect to the postal brand and the universe and the community.
That's a great example. I mean, really, that you still keep in contact with these people and you still wish them the best and that you still look forward to actually make things right. I mean, you're someone great. I mean, really, someone that to admire because, and again, I wish you the best with all of this. This is great. And I don't know what to say. I really, well, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Uh, Thank you for your time. I know that you are a bit busy, and I know that you have to take care of things in running with sister and such. But really, it was such an honor having you on the show. And well, first time a CEO of the game comes to the show. So I mean, that's just great.
Listen,
Thank you.
it's an honor. It's an honor to be here as your guest. I love the fact that you are in Peru, in Lima, and that your broadcast is mostly to a Latino audience. My Spanish is limited, but
Oh, don't worry. That's
no,
why
it's
we
all
speak English.
good. And hold one quick second. When I in Lima, there's a restaurant called Central. If
Yeah,
you know, heard of it.
I think
It's
yeah.
it's excellent. It's a great, great
Oh
restaurant. But
yeah,
we went to Cusco, which I love. Okay, I mean Cusco was fabulous, and of course everybody goes to Machu Picchu.
of
But we
course.
also the Montana de Siete Colores, and
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. But I do think my favorite part was we were in the Amazon on little canoes. I mean, I
yeah.
don't remember. We flew from Lima to Igua. What is the name of it? Something with an IG, something like that. Hold on a quick second. Hey, babe, off the top of your head, what was the city we flew to from Lima to get to the Amazon? Something Iguana. And we had
Yeah,
a guide,
yeah.
and we were in the Amazon in the Jungla, and we met with a shaman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, and it was amazing experience. Really was amazing.
I'm
So
glad that.
thank you. I appreciate it. Hey Ringo, you're a good kid. Appreciate it. Listen, like I said, Postal's older than you are, so.
Yeah, for 3 years, 2 3 years. Yeah.
Listen, when you post this and all, let me have it. We'll cross promote it. And
Oh,
as you get feedback from your fans or any questions anybody has, please feed them to Ringo, and he'll send them to me, and I'll do my best. We could have a follow up maybe we could do a follow-up where the
Sure.
interview is based on just your audience questions. How's that?
I will be honored to work with you, Mr. Desi. You tell a day and I will be there. Oh my God.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Well, listen, the best to you. Thank you so much. And like I said, follow up. I look forward. Okay.
me too. Well, you come back to Peru, you come back to Lima.
I would
Uh,
love. Let me say, I come back to Peru. I'm happy to come to your house.
sure,
Happy to
I
come.
sure I'll even help you through with the best restaurants because yes, my stepfather is a good cook, but we also go to some nice places. So
Fantastic.
no, really, and I mean I don't know. There's still 1 minute left.
All right.
I just did something great that I don't know. I never thought that I spoke with someone that worked on one of my favorite
Listen,
games.
if I could leave you on a little hint here,
Yes,
you're a young guy, and to all your audience, anything is possible. You just have to do it. Okay. An idea is good, but you need action. So, whatever it is you want to do, this is your show. You're independent. You're doing it.
thank you
And
very much.
to all your audience, you are a good example of a young person who had an idea, who's making it happen. So, I congratulate you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Desi. Thank you a lot. And well,
Listen, I got to go take a piss. So, time's up. Okay.
okay, okay. I'll see you next time then.
All
Bye.
right. Take care. Nice and easy. God
Bye.
bless. Bye.
Adios. Bye.
Bye.
So,
I'm gonna fire your ass, Ringo.
what? What I did? I just started.
Yeah, no, you're fired.
I regret nothing.